and I got hit in the helmet. Went right round the helmet, came out the top, got hit in the chest, and hit in my man bag through the strap. If I had a new one on, it's higher on the ear, so I wouldn't be talking to you now, I'd be dead. From probably 11 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning, gates of hell. Gates of fucking hell.
Hello and welcome to the Lights, Camera, Combat podcast, a podcast where we talk to incredible people with inspiring stories and a life in connection to combat and shine a light on it. Over the course of the next 12 weeks, I'll be joined by veterans turned TV presenters, incredible athletes, world record breakers and even a D-Day veteran to hear some inspiring stories and some inspirational outlooks on life to help me and hopefully you find the light at the end of any tunnel. On today's episode, I'll be joined by British military legend Craig Harrison as he tells his story from childhood through to the British Army and even getting his own identity leaked in the British press. There's some unbelievable stories in here from Craig, who suffers severely from PTSD and is doing what he can now to make a difference in his community. There are some heartbreaking moments in this podcast, stories of being shot 3 times, blown up, just to name a couple, and all of these stories and many more will be shared on today's podcast. So wherever you are, however you listen, sit comfortably and enjoy this episode of the Lights, Camera, Combat podcast. So, it's an absolute privilege to be joined today by a legend and hero of the British Army, even if not by his own admission. A record breaker, sniper, an author, but above all else an absolute inspiration through facing challenges and adversity. Craig Harrison, thank you very much for joining me on the pod today, mate.
No worries, it's a pleasure.
It's great to see you. It's been a long time coming, actually, us getting together to record this episode, so it's great to be here. Obviously, I just touched on the stuff that we'll be getting into, but most importantly, how you doing today? How's everything with you?
Good, really good. You know, yeah, I'm good. Mental health's good, in a good place. It took time to get my medication right, but you know, big advocate for medication. If people aren't on it and suffering, you know, it takes time to get the balance right, and they got my balance just right, so it makes me function for the day much better. So yeah, all good. Good,
that's great to hear. So to begin, I want you to take me back to the early years, the childhood, and what shaped you into Craig the Soldier.
My family were all military orientated, so they were all ex-RAF, which was good. So very disciplined as a family unit. My father, who left when I was a young age as a kid, he was a dog handler. So was my mum and my granddad. I'm not sure what my granddad done actually, to be honest with you. Something in the RAF to do with planes, and childhood was good, you know. I very strict. My mum was very strict. Got a brother who also joined the military. He's a year older than me, so he joined the military as well. And I think my mum was always inclined for me to join the armed forces, because where I lived there was nothing, you know. There was no job prospects. There was no. Yeah, nothing around there, and my grandfather always told me to get a trade. So I love horses, and my love for horses was then transformed into the army, joined the Household Cavalry, and then I wanted to become a farrier. That's what I wanted, or you know, some sort of shoes on the horses. And where I lived in Cheltenham, there was no apprenticeships happening, so yeah, it was a no-brainer for me to join the military, really. And I joined when I was 16. So, but my childhood, yeah, it was all right. It was good. You know, no aspects of becoming a sniper or anything. You know, obviously run around with guns and playing soldiers and stuff like that. You know, as you do when you're a kid. Just a kid's life. but I was lucky to have horses when I was younger, so I was very orientated towards the equine world, and I think during the army, and I think they could take me further than Civilian Street could take me.
So, what did it feel like joining the army, and what was the start of that journey like for you?
So I joined the army when I was 16. I went to Purbright. It was the household division, so it's where all the guards went to train, and it was fucking strict. It was strict. I remember getting off the train at Brookwood, getting picked up, taking me into the Purbright camp, and obviously guards are like down the line, and they're proud to be the guards, you know, and the household cavalry was part of the guards division, and I was the only donkey walloper. There was two more in my platoon, but I was the only donkey walloper, you know, and they call you a horse shagger, donkey walloper, and the lads we got picked on, basically, because we weren't the guards, we were just the household cavalry, and it was fucking hell. If there was some shit job to do, they met the household cavalry do it, you know. And don't get me wrong, there was times that I rang my mum up saying I can't do this anymore, you know, because it gets to you after a while. But
what would she say to you?
You're not coming home.
No.
That's how strict she was. You're not coming home. So you either stay there or find somewhere else because you're not coming home. So it gives me that inspiration to do it. And nowadays, I think lads join the army and it's something like 10 weeks or something. I don't know how long it is. They go to Harrogate, they go to college, they do stuff. Me, it was a year. It was 365 fucking days of shit, you know, and then you passed out and then you went to your regiment, and that's how they worked it. And I think it still should be like that, because it makes you a better fucking soldier, you know, instead of fanning around you doing this, doing that, fucking do the year. And we learned so much in that year as well as getting fucked around. But yeah.
Do you think that's the same sort of principle for everything at the moment? And you know, we were talking before we were recording about, you know, other sort of frontline response workers, police, whatever it is, where the training programs now are completely different to what they used to be. Do you think that is in of itself a bit of an issue?
I think everything's gone more PC now. So I don't want to go into it too much, but I think the times have changed in the way we are as people, and I think getting treated old school way, people wouldn't like that. So it had no choice but to change with the times. Yeah, in my eyes, I'm 50 years old now, keep it the fucking same. If it's not broken, why change it?
Yeah.
And it makes you a better person, you know. But like I said, they've got to move on with the times and move on the way the generations are going as well.
Yeah. So then, moving on with the story, you passed out. What was the time difference between you passing out and you going on your first tour?
So basically, I did 5 years at Knightsbridge.
Did you enjoy that time?
I did enjoy it, but it wasn't what I expected it to be like. You know, yeah, full on horses, but you're looking after a yard of 34 horses, you groom them, and then you clean your kit, and then you go on guard down at Whitehall near Buckingham Palace, come off there, and then you clean your kit again to go on guard the next day, or you might have a day off, and you think, Gleeman, I've got a day off. But you're on guard the next day, so you've got to clean your kit anyway, so you really haven't got a day off. And then they say you've got a weekend. It's called a 48 or 36, and you think, brilliant, what I do, I might go home. No, you're on guard on Monday, so on that Sunday and Saturday, you've got to clean your kit. You know, yeah. So it was very high pressured, as in, we call it bouncing guards. It's changed now, because we had, in the household cavalry at the time, highest AWOL rate, highest suicide rate. You know, you think you're 16 years old, you pass out of training, you go to your regiment when you're 17, you're signing for nearly £250,000 worth of kit, and you've got to clean it, you've got to clean your horses, you're getting up at 4 in the morning, you're not finished till about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, you're just absolutely fucked, you know. So lads were going AWOL, and lads were having another easy ticket by committing suicide, getting out of it, you know, and it was a shame. And we got investigated many a time for that sort of stuff. But I did 5 years, or just under 5 years, and I went AWOL. You know, I went to join the French Foreign Legion because I thought that I was going to join the Forge. I'm a bit dyslexic, so being in the Forge, my practical skills were fucking on par. But when it came down to the written work or the lessons, they were saying, right, you need to prep this, you need to prep that. I was doing more illustration work more than I was written work, and it wasn't good enough for them. So they said, you haven't got a place in the Forge. So, but I only had a plan A. My head was focused on becoming a farrier. That was it. Plan A, plan A, plan A. I didn't have a fucking plan B at all. And that's what really fucked me up. So I went AWOL, joined the French Foreign Legion. That didn't work out, so I came back. Bunged in Nick for a while, military jail. Did 14 days in there. And then they took me out of Knightsbridge because they knew it wasn't working for me. And they took me to Windsor. And that's where the armoured side of the regiment was. They've moved now. They've moved to Borford. And I never looked back. Never looked back. I fucking loved it.
So what was it that changed for you?
Just the green side. We call it the green side. You've got the ceremonial side and you've got the reconnaissance side, and we call it the green side because you're on exercise. You're driving around in a little armoured reconnaissance vehicle. The camaraderie with the lads, you're more closer because you work as a troop, and there's 12 people in that troop, or 16 people max, and you're working together, you know, and yeah, it's brilliant. The camaraderie, the dark humour was absolutely amazing, and I loved it. I loved being in the countryside because when I was little, I was in the country.
Yeah.
So being in the countryside when I was younger, and now I'm in the army doing something that I love, you know, and I never look back.
So how long was it from there to Tour 1?
Oh, for Tour, oh yeah. I suppose Bosnia Tour, so a year, just under a year.
And how did it come about?
Well, just our turn.
Your turn?
Yeah, so you rotate around the British Army, so one regiment will do Bosnia, and then it will come round to the Household Cavalry Squadron. You need to provide a squadron to go to Bosnia. Okay, there it is, and then that's how it works.
So how did it feel? How did you feel when you knew that was coming up?
I've heard lads that had gone to Bosnia before, had done fighting, firefights and all that, but when I went out there, it was more peacekeeping role, and I expected it to be peacekeeping, you know, just through the stories that I've heard of previous blokes and all that. And yeah, it was a long tour, 6 months. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time or anything, or wasn't committed to anything, and just done the tour. I don't know, it just felt right. It just felt like a big exercise. Like I was on exercise away from camp, away from my creature comforts, and I was in a different country doing it, you know, and yeah, I fucking loved it. Yeah, don't get me wrong, we saw their bodies, you know, we dealt with them, but there was no fighting, you know, it was all a peacekeeping role at the time, and the majority of the time, if there was an incident, you couldn't get involved. You had to let them deal with it themselves, but look into it to make sure it doesn't extend into something like violence or something like that.
So how many tours have you done in total?
10.
And across from Bosnia,
Kosovo, Iraq and Afghanistan.
Okay. And how many was in each?
So I did 3 of Bosnia, 2 of Kosovo, 3 of Iraq and 2 Afghan.
So you mentioned at the time of Bosnia you weren't in a relationship or anything. Where did your wife come into the picture?
My first Iraq tour. So we went to Iraq and we were based in Kuwait because it was the invasion to get Saddam Hussein out, and we based in just on the border of Iraq in Kuwait, and then we went over, did the stayed there for 6 months or just over 6 months it was, and then I came back, and one of my mates lived in Bedford, and I said, I'm back from Iraq, I'll come down and see you, because I'm very much of a loner anyway. I like my own company, and I had a battered old camper van, and I just travel around and like my own company, stuff like that. didn't have a girlfriend, wasn't committed, and I thought, well, I'm going to down and see my mate. Went down there. He never tipped up, so I stayed in this pub on my own, and I was about to get up and walk out, and then Tanya walked in with her friend, just started talking to him, said stay the night with her, just talking we were. It was brilliant, just felt really comfortable and good to do, and then I just started a relationship out with her, and it was absolutely fantastic.
What was her thoughts on, the job that you were doing?
So I didn't tell her, to be honest with you. I said I was in the army, and she goes, squaddy. Now, you get like a typical soldier that is committed to the army, and I call them professional soldiers, or you get yourself, which was a squaddy, who just goes on the piss, likes fighting, doesn't do anything womanising, doesn't take the job seriously. And I probably, when I was a younger age, I was like that, a country bumpkin bloke going to London with a wad full of money. Fuck, I'm a weekend millionaire. I didn't know where I was coming or going. But due to the tours that I've done and what I've seen and done as well, I became more professional soldier in myself. So Tanya met me at the right time, and it was good. It was good.
When did you tell her about the reality of the job?
I didn't really tell her, to be honest with you. I just kept it to myself. I'm just in the army, going on exercise, going on tour, doing this, doing that, and she didn't experience or understand what soldiering was like until we got married, and then I went on my other tours, and then she realised, fucking hell, yeah, how dangerous it is out there,
So to backtrack a little bit from there, what is there a mission, a first mission in your head that really sort of stands out to this day that you remember?
Just my first kill. I've killed someone.
Where was that?
I was in Iraq. I was in the Maysan Desert, just below Anamara, massive desert, and he was following us, and we was in a MOG, which is a mobile operational group, driving around the desert, and this desert is massive, it's fucking 600 miles that way, something that way. It's fucking huge. It's not sure the span of it, and every time we stopped we got mortared, and it turned out that this guy was like keeping an eye on us. Every time we stopped he'd call it in, and then we'd get mortared. It was my job to take him out, and I had the green light to take him out, and and after that we didn't get mortared at all, so the job was done. And I felt weird, really, because I've just killed someone. You don't expect it during the army to go and kill someone. My aspects of during the army, household cavalry, become a farrier, but now I'm a sniper. Now I'm doing a different job that I set out to do, and this could be my plan B, and
that probably surprises people to hear somebody say that, that was never something that was expected in joining the army. Is that because you think there's a closed mindset on maybe what the army is, rather than thinking that you could go into the army and be a farrier?
Warfare's changed massively. Warfare's changed now since I've been out, more drone operated and stuff like that. And like I said, if you line people up and what do you expect of the army? I want to fucking kill someone, I want to go to war. That's the wrong attitude to have. What you join the army for? Well, I want to do this, do this, do this, do this. I want to progress in my army career. I want the army, because the army's like a big family. It looks after you. Your dentist, your doctors, your bills. When you're married, you live in an army quarter. So it's a big unit. You get looked after. But as long as you give them the time and your discipline and your professionality, they will look after you. And that's what I expected it to be like, and it was.
Yeah. So where did that path go from? Because obviously, there may be probably people that have already listened to a lot of your story that's out there, and for other parts of that story to be able to go and listen to. And for people that don't, obviously you are most well known for being a sniper. So where did that cross come from? Just doing the regular duties that you were doing to specialising as a sniper?
It was in Iraq. my first tour, we took over this town called Alamara. Well, it wasn't a town, it was like a little city. The Americans went off to Baghdad, we went to Alamara, and then we went on to Basra, and that was the plan, and then the Americans would take Baghdad. So we was in Alamara, we had to fight to get in there, just small arms fire and stuff like that, and we took over this big football stadium, and there were snipers positioned around the top of the football stadium, and I went for a little walk. I thought, fuck, I'll go for a little walk. So I went up the stairs where all the seats were, and I was just walking around the top of the perimeter, and I started talking to this sniper. He was in the Royal Irish regiment, and just started talking to him, and his professionality, the way he conducted himself, everything. And I thought, this is what I fucking want, you know, and how they got treated. You know, and when you're in the army, you get treated like a little kid sometimes. You need to do this, yes sir, yes sir. But as a sniper, you got treated completely different. You had more responsibility. You had a precision weapon system, you know, everything. And I said, yeah, this is what I want, and this is what I want to become, you know. And every time a tour finished, or you're at camp or do something, they always ask you, you need to do career courses. So when the tour finished, they would say, what do you want to do? And they give you the option, and you say, right, I want to do this, I want to do. And I said, what my HGV license is, and they sort you out. I said, I want to become a sniper, and they said no, because there was no role in the household cavalry for snipers, no role at all. If I was in the guards or the paras or the rifles, yeah, by all means, they've got snipers. Household cavalry, no. And I kept asking, and eventually I got the yes, and I was more gobsmacked that I got the fucking yes, because I thought I was going to get the no. And so I went in there prepping for the no to walk out again. And he goes, okay, yeah, you got it, yeah, I'll go, I'll sort it out for you. I was like, oh, fucking hell, right. Didn't know what to fucking do.
Yeah.
Caught me on the hop, you know. And yeah, I went down to Purbright again, and that's where the household division sniper school was. And yeah, I went down there and became a sniper. But if you think each regiment has their own sniper platoon, like the rifles, the paras, the guards and stuff like that. If you were going down to do the course, you would get attached to their platoon to ghost them, so you'd know everything about that before. You got a rough idea what was known at my regiment. So I went down there totally blind. I had a little sausage bag, my kit bag with all my uniform in it. They had ghillie suits, sticks, obs, rifles, ammo, and everything like that. Fucking hell! And I provided the minibus. That was it. I provided the minibus, and I was like, what the fuck? And yeah, I passed out. I think there was like 30 started our course, and 4 passed.
Wow.
So yeah, it was quite a high failure rate due to fitness. You're carrying a lot of weight on your back. Navigation, your navigation's got to be. You need to be an A1 soldier. An A1 soldier. You need to be an A1 soldier, no matter fucking what. You know, if there's a little tink in your armour, they will find it, and you know, so your fitness needs to be on par as well. If you're carrying an injury, yeah, it's going to get worse and worse and worse, because this the stuff you're doing is non-stop, you know, sleep deprivation and stuff like that. And I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
I thought, yeah, this is me, you know.
So 2 things quickly there. So if you were somebody who you'd gone in, you got an injury, you carried an injury, and that kind of ruled you out, would you be able to go back in for it?
You would do, yeah. There's not like you can only come down 3 times and they'll fuck you off. But it'd be a mark against your name. Oh yeah, he's come down second time. Let's see what he's like. But you can't help yourself sometimes by getting an injury or twisting an ankle or something, you know. And you may be an A1 soldier and twist your ankle, be unlucky on a tree root, you know, and then come down again and become top student. But you'd be surprised the amount of people that will go back to their regiment and get lost in the system and never come back again, you know. Yeah.
So if for people that don't know and presume that snipering is just the soldier with the sniper, obviously it's a 2-man mission. When you say that there were only 4 people that passed out. Was that all? Were you all, the shooter, or did that include?
So as a sniper, you get trained as a spotter and a shooter,
Okay.
no matter what.
Yeah.
So when you are paired up with your number 2 or your number 1, you take it in turns. Well, me and my number 2 did. We took it in turns.
Mm-hmm.
So we were both the same shot, both the same capability of doing all the math stuff, and so we just took it in turns. Or instead of getting the spot and scope out, we just got 2 rifles out.
Mm-hmm.
You say, right, you take this out, you take that, you take, not on the course, but in reality, when you're in the in up range, so you get trained in everything. So, and
what's that relationship like between you and your number 2?
You got to be close.
Yeah.
You're shoulder to shoulder when you're actually touching each other, or my leg could be crossing his leg. You squeezed up places, and in comfortable positions sometimes, and you just got to know that person, and.
Yeah. So, we touched there on how you met your wife Tanya, and you've got your wife and you've got your daughters. What was life like when you come home from tours? How did you manage to, if you did, switch off from that point of just spent 6 months at war to kind of just playing the role of husband and dad?
Fucking hard. It's hard to switch off, but you manage it. Bangs, fireworks, cars backfiring, screeching brakes, and many times I've heard that lads and people on other podcasts say that, 1 minute you're full on fighting, next minute you're cutting the grass in your garden, and it's knowing that different reality, and it is fucking hard. It's hard. You become quiet in yourself. You miss the lads because you've been with them so long. But you have to change, you have to do it, and many lads, his girlfriends left them due to they couldn't cope with that transition, or they never transitioned when they came back. They were still fighting mode and full on. Many a time that Tanya's woke me and I jumped up in a start, because I was such in a deep sleep, because I was so relaxed, because I'm not in that theatre mode. And I wake up, my fist clenched, and I'm gritting, and she goes, okay, it's me, many a time. And then when you have that 2 weeks R&R, or when you go back, you go back again, you have to switch again to go back into fighting mode again. So, by the time that rest period's over and you're relaxing, then you've got to hypen up again and go. It's quite hard. But when the tour is finished, you're glad it's finished, and you're glad to have a partner there to support you. It was hard for the lads that were single. Nobody. That bus pulled up in camp. We all piled off, and you see the lads walking back to the block on their own. And they're the lads you need to keep an eye on. Because they're.
Would there be that contact on when you were at home, and you say you'd miss the guys? Would there be contact with them on that downtime? Or
sometimes, if you've got mates on R&R with you, but you just want to stay with your missus, stay with your kids, go for meals, go on holiday, go in the sun somewhere and just chill out, and just relax. And that's the whole point of the R&R, you spent God knows how many months with your mate. Last thing you want to do is fucking ring them up when you're on R&R. But when you come home off tour and the tour had finished, they keep you in camp for a week and a bit, and they keep an eye on you to make sure that you're okay. I don't know how they worked it out. It needs to be a week long, because if you've got PTSD, you've got it.
Just to touch on something that sort of stood out to me, you talking about when you got into it and you were in this football stadium and you saw the sniper. Is there a thought in your head that this massive almost disconnect in a parallel world where your role in a football stadium to 99% of the public that roll in the football stadiums, they go and watch a football match, and it's, you know, it's a fun afternoon, Saturday afternoon, you go watch the football, and you're in a football stadium because you fought to occupy this football stadium. You're using it as a bit of a base, and you've got ready, waiting snipers on the roof of this football stadium. Is there anything in your head that goes, that's like not reality to anywhere else?
Yeah, it's weird because it's just a different country, but you don't expect in that country. You expect to have a football stadium, shops, stuff like that. And next thing you know, you're walking down the high street, you're walking past shops and all that with clothes in the window and food in the stores and stuff like that. You think, yeah, I'm fighting in these streets. You know, like the football stadium had seats going up, everything. You know, it was a shithole though. And they had Scud missiles on the vehicles still in the bays at the bottom. And there were like 3 or 4 of them that Saddam was saying the soldiers had left there, and when we occupied it, they were all left there, and you know, lads taking pictures with these Scud missiles and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say it was too much of a reality check. You just, it's like you go there and you go, fucking hell, or you stand in the middle of the football stadium in the centre pitch, and you're like, fucking hell, yeah, it's a bit unreal, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, you spent 3 weeks trying to fight this fucker to get this football stadium, then you got to push through and carry on. I don't know. Is it a weird thing? It probably is, but you don't think of it at the time. You don't think of it. Yeah, it's full on. It's full on. We used to get ice every morning, and there was a special building in the city that we used to go to, and they used to do blocks of ice, and all the blocks were like igloo shaped going into this bit. Oh, it's weird. I just remembered that, you know. And we used to smash the ice up and then give us big blocks of ice to keep all our food fresh and stuff like that. Yeah, some of the locals liked you, and some of the locals hated you. You know, they were stood on the regime of Saddam Hussein, but some of them were so glad to see you, you know, because you're like helping them, you know.
So, most people that would be familiar with your story will already know that a lot of the fame around it came from you breaking the world record for the longest snipe kill. Talk a little bit about that mission, what happened, where you were, how it came about.
So we were based in Afghan in a place called Musakala, and then we went to a place called Talajan, which was east of Musakala, southeast of Musakala, and there was a mission going into this village, and this village was very heavily Taliban occupied, and it was our job to give overwatch for a patrol going in, and this patrol was mixed of Afghan army and British soldiers, and it was their job to flush the Taliban out, and the Afghan army felt comfortable having overwatch, having heavy weapons on the hill. And that was one of my jobs as a sniper, looking down into the village, and I could see into the village, and I could see all the Taliban waiting for a fight for the patrol going in. So I was radioing the patrol saying, look, you're going to walk into a bloodbath, you know, just be careful. And they were well aware what was going on, because we got ICOM chatter. So you've got a radio which is tuned into the Taliban frequency, and you'll have an interpreter with you who will translate, and you need to trust your interpreter, because some of the interpreters that we did get were saying shit stuff, like wasn't really what they were saying, you know. And we had a good one, and he was saying, look, they're waiting for them to get in the kill box. And what a kill box is an area with no hiding spaces, no nothing really, and you'll cause max devastation in that area. And the patrol got in there, fucking opened up, started mowing them down, and they were getting casualties, heavy casualties. And I fought on my feet, and I said, right, let's get these vehicles down. So I got my three, well, I had four vehicles, one stayed behind, and I sent three of them down into the kill box to act as a buffer between the patrol and also the Taliban. But in the distance, I could see a flicker, and I thought, what the fuck's that? And I looked through my scope, and I could see somebody on the radio. And so I said, fucking hell, yeah, he's talking to them. So I took a shot, missed, took 9 shots to get there. It's called bracketing. So every time a shot lay short, I'd lift higher and higher and higher. And finally, I hit the compound wall, and the ICOM chatter went dead. So obviously he was radioing to them what he could see to them, the Taliban. And then I just heard a voice over the radio, and I said to the interpreter, what's he saying? And he said he can't help us anymore because he's getting shot at from somewhere, and that was me doing that. So I knew where I was shooting on my scope, went down in the mission, taking targets out, and then it went on for ages. So usually a contact would last seconds, a couple of minutes. This went on 11:30 to about 2:30. It was full on, and usually when a contact goes on for a certain amount of time, they would bring helicopters in, or heavy, the A-10s would come in or something like that. And we didn't have air at the time. And then my lads, they extracted all their wounded out. The vehicles were in the kill box still. I told them to go, and as they were driving out, they got engaged, and they could hear, and I was looking everywhere to find out where my lads were getting engaged from. Looked up to where I
guy had been calling the shots.
And I could see 2 guys, one kneeling down, one laying down, and I thought, right. So I put my scope on him, just offset. I fired, first one missed, so it took 6 seconds time of flight, so you have to wait. And I fired my second shot, and the guy stood up who was feeding, it was a PK machine gun, so that's 700 rounds per minute that fires, 7.62. And as he turned around, I hit him, he fell backwards, and then I fired my third shot. And as I fired my third shot, I moved my rifle across and fired my fourth shot. So now I've got 2 bullets that are roughly 3 seconds apart. Third one missed, fourth one hit the other guy, and he fell back. And my lads came back. We didn't get any casualties, thank God. And then it was our job to go up to retrieve the weapon, stop it getting back into Taliban's hands. That weapon had already gone, and the helicopter came down and he GPS'd it at 2,475 metres. And I was out to the pilot. I didn't realise or anything like that, didn't care, just done my mission, done my job. Tour went on, other stuff happened to me on that tour, and then came home and all the shit happened.
So I've heard somebody ask you before if it's a record that you're proud of, to which you said no. Is it almost a record that you wish you didn't have at the time?
Not really. I didn't know at the time that I got the world record.
Once you found out.
Right, yeah, they're fucking...
Because obviously there's a part of it that means you've broken it because you've had to help people potentially get killed, stop them getting killed. Yeah. And you'd rather be without having to do that. So what... I didn't. The media publicised it. Yeah. Not me. No, I didn't stand on a soapbox and go, I broke the world record. Yeah. The media did it, and they're the ones that caused me the pain. Yeah. If they didn't say anything, no one would know. No one would know. No. Media is a powerful thing. Yeah. The most important thing to you was getting those guys that went in out again. Yep. And protecting my lads. Yeah. Protecting my lads. Yeah. And at the end of the day, they're my boys. I trained them for 6 months prior going on tour. Last I want is they don't want to get killed or wounded. Mm. Did you feel then, so what rank were you at this point? Sergeant. So did you feel a big sense of responsibility with your lads that you went in with? Oh yeah, massively. They're my boys. Did you lose any of them?
No. We had injuries, amputees, stuff like that, but no one lost.
So the for you the only thought that really is in your head still to this point regarding that moment is you got the people out that you wanted to protect.
Yeah, without doubt. If I'd have sat in my vehicle and watched it, maybe casualties would have fucking happened.
Do you feel proud of yourself for what you did, record aside, for the fact that taking those acts saved their lives?
Not really, because that's your training as a soldier. You get trained that, and it was my job as a sniper to do that job, and also you get trained up 6 months prior going on tour. You get trained anyway, so you get trained for the knowledge that you are going to get engaged at some point by the Taliban or the enemy, and it's your job to fight back, and you get trained for that. So it's come second nature. So when you hit the ground and you go at range, it's second nature for you if you get shot at to return fire.
I assume obviously that there's the fact that it is a world record means that it was a very impressive, difficult shot to make, and so whether you view it as a proud of yourself moment or not, there would have been people that probably wouldn't have been able to make that shot.
I was stood up as well.
Stood up.
That's what people think. I was lying down. I wasn't. I was stood up.
How does that? I assume that completely throws your stability out.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah,
you've got more stability on the ground.
Yeah.
Undulating ground doesn't predict all the time that you can take a shot, so you have to adjust the terrain. And I was stood up, leaning against a compound wall, and every time I fired the shot, a bit of the wall would fall down because it just made a dry mud, cow shit, and straw. And so you have to make that choice. And,
Can you still clearly envisage that day?
Yeah. I got a photo.
Have you?
Yeah, I got a photo of my gunner. Took a photo of me on that day shooting. Yeah, and you can see the map on the floor where all the compounds are. You can see my driver, who wasn't a trained sniper, but I had to talk him through a spotting scope, keep acting as my second pair of eyes, and it was. Yeah, we had t-shirts on because it was a winter tour, but it was fucking hot.
Yeah,
and it was like in the summer, in the winter, where you get the perfect blue sky, the sun's out, you got your t-shirt on, and you think, fuck, it's winter and I'm quite warm. That's exactly how it was like. Perfect conditions. I suppose if it was any more like raining or was uber hot or freezing cold, the bullet wouldn't have travelled that far, or I wouldn't be able to make that shot. I think the atmospherics were just spot on at the time.
See, it's so interesting from my position, and we'll talk a little bit later about the PTSD that you've suffered since being there. But talking to you, listening to you talk about the stories of you being there, smile on your face is massive.
I miss it. I miss it. I miss being in the shit. At the time you don't, you're chopping like fuck, but I miss it. I miss it.
What is it about being in...
It's just what I fucking know. It's what I know. And it's what I enjoy. And when you come out, you've got nothing. You could be Sergeant Major in the Army, in control of 310 guys, looking after their career, looking after this. You've done your time, and now you're a postman. I always say it's like putting cellophane on a door and you're running a million miles an hour in the army, and suddenly you're at that fucking door and you're suffocating because all that's gone. The rush is gone, the dopamine's gone. You're missing the rush of it all, and especially when I was in Iraq, in Basra, we went into the city snipering, and that's different. That's urban warfare, and that's totally different than raw warfare. And it's just, I smile because I miss it. You know, even though the damage it caused me, I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you ever think about the damage it could be causing you when you were in there?
No. You know, you go in the ops room, you get tasks in, and they said, right, this is your task in, this is your job, next mission, this one. Once you're doing that, come back, we'll sort something out.
Yeah.
So, and that was it. And all you focus on is that mission. You know, that's why it's important at the time as well. If you had problems with your missus, you had an argument prior going on a mission, worst thing you could fucking do. Worst thing you could do. You know, make sure you go on a mission with a clear mind, clear head.
Yeah.
You know, and Tanya was good. Tanya was good for me. But yeah, it's...
What is there one mission that stands out from the crowd as the most dangerous?
Knock it down. All of them, like, yeah.
I'm thinking about something that you'd mentioned in the past about being on the roof of at night time.
Oh, the PJOC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. So the PJOC was an outpost. It was next to a prison in Iraq, and it was next to this in Basra City. And Basra Palace was, you could walk it in 10 minutes, all right, and it takes 2 hours in a vehicle, because you get fucking smashed. You get fucking smashed, and you're battened down in this vehicle, and all it is rounds pinging off and things like that. And we went into the PJOC, and it was only literally 18 people in this PJOC. Majority were clerks, majority were chefs, and you only had a few frontline soldiers there. And from probably 11 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning, gates of hell. Gates of fucking hell, because all they wanted was to release the prisoners from this prison, and they were like ants coming from everywhere, and it was full on. It was fucking full on fighting, and to the point where you think you're going to get overrun in a minute, you know. And there was a point where I rang Tanya up to say goodbye.
Really?
Yeah, because we were just getting overrun. Over fucking run.
What did you say to her on that call?
Where the sniper hide was. Do you ever see the Muppet Show? Remember the old guys in the balcony, always chomping, weren't they? That was a sniper hide. It might as well have been, because we stuck out like two fucking sore dicks, honestly. And I turned around to my number two and I said, look, we need to move from here. We're just attracting too much attention. And he said, yeah, good thinking. And as we went down the ladder, the phone to ring home was at the bottom. It was a red phone, and I said I just need to do something. It felt right at the time. Many people put me down for it. You know, you're in a firefight and you're ringing home, but they weren't there. They didn't feel the tension, and I rang her and I said to her, I love you. And she goes, yeah, I love you too. She goes, what's all that noise? I said, don't worry about that. And I said, look, I just love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. And she goes, you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. And my number two goes, Craig, we've got to go, we've got to go. I said, look, babe, I've got to go. I said, I promise you one thing, I will ring you in the morning. I will ring you in the morning. No matter what, I'll ring you. And yeah, I rang her the next day.
In the moment, did you think you were going to?
No, we had chefs on the machine guns.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? We run out of ammo. We ran out of gun oil, so we're using chip oil, cooking oil.
So what turned the tide?
It was just one big push they did. And what do you mean, how did we win it?
Yeah.
Fighting. British mentality. Don't fucking give up. You know? Fucking, I think I had one mag of sniper rifle ammo left.
Wow.
And I usually got probably about 9.
Cool.
Each one holds 5 rounds. Ran out of 5.56 SA-18 rounds ammo, ran out of that. So we had to get a replan in from the Palace. The Palace couldn't help us from their QRF team because they were pinned down as well. So it was like, you're on your own, boys. You're gonna have to fight. And that's what we did. We fought, and we got onto the roof, and we had these metal railings, and we put like Hessian sacks down, and we put slits in them, so we can sniper through the slits, so they couldn't do us. But next door was a wheat factory, and they had a big silo of wheat, and they had a door at the top, and it was just full of bullet holes where they used to disappear. But the trouble with them, they always occupy the same firing spot. So you go, you just carry on doing the job, and then someone else would appear because they're looking down on the roof.
Yeah.
But the ants down the bottom are coming up. They had we could hear ping noise, ping, ping, and we couldn't work out what this ping noise was. And in the morning, we looked down off the roof, and we were fucked. We didn't sleep all night, and we looked down at the roof, and there were RPG warheads down at the bottom, and the old ones have to arm over a certain distance, and they were shooting them so short that they wouldn't have time to arm.
Wow.
And they were shooting the fuel cans, and they were just bouncing off the fuel cans and laying on the floor. So if they hit what we call Oshkoshes, like the fuel vehicle, fill up petrol stations, it would have blown the building apart easy, and the roof. So that was a full-on one.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. If you are, please leave a like, a review, a follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. It helps us grow the podcast and bring you the best guests that we can. Without further ado, let's get back into this episode. In those moments of real extreme danger, how often were you thinking of Tanya or your girls, or were you completely compartmentalising that?
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah,
you got to. You haven't got time.
Was it just
I think your skill set comes into play, your professionality comes into play, and what you've been taught comes into play. And you need to do your fucking job, and you need to do it as high as calibre as possible.
Yeah.
You haven't got time to think like that. Yeah, when the rush finishes, you give your fucking number two a cuddle. I fucking love you, man. I love you too. What the fuck are we doing? Do you know what I mean?
It was just the circumstance that you found yourself in with that phone right there, right time, right moment.
Yeah.
Have you ever spoken to her about the truth of that day since?
She knows.
Yeah.
She knows, because she's been on other podcasts with me. Do you know what I mean? And,
Did she know? Has she ever said whether in the moment for her, it felt like a different phone call, like a phone call of you?
Yeah, because she was asking what the noise was, and it was all crack and like the noise of the bullets whizzing past and shit like that. Because when we moved from the sniper hide, we looked up and it just got fucking rinsed, and all the sandbags got holes in them, sand was dripping down. I was going, fucking hell, on to my number two, and I said, that's good you'll be fucking moved, and she didn't. I rang her and I said, look, this is. She goes, everything okay? And I said, yeah, everything's fine. Yeah.
So, in the midst of your time in Afghan, you're involved in the incident that you say would be the catalyst to where we are today. What happened there?
Me getting blown up?
Yeah.
Jeez. Do you know what? I got blown up, but I think getting shot 3 times didn't help at all either. And that was 3 days prior to that. I was on another mission.
What happened there?
I was on another mission, and it was our job to keep the left flank open, and we just got engaged by the insurgents, and I got hit in the helmet, went right round the helmet, came out the top, got hit in the chest, and hit in my man bag through the strap. My wagon on the right side got hit about 136 times. Got rinsed, jerry cans, spare wheel went, fuel went, everything. My driver was in the footwell, and it knocked me out, the one to the head, knocked me out for about 20 seconds. I was unconscious, and I came back round again, and to this day now I haven't got a clue what I fucking done.
Really?
And it was only my driver's recollection of what he told me what I'd done. Apparently I distracted everyone off the hill, so it was just us on top of the hill in the vehicle. I was fighting with the GPMG machine gun, and as the ammo was going in, because it's belt fed, a round hit the ammo box and squashed it. So as it squashed it, it broke the link, so the gun jammed or ran out of ammo. So I got my SA-80 out and I was fucking spraying them down with that. And then I couldn't get into my man bag in time, so I got another 2 mags out, put some ammo down there. Each mag holds 30 rounds. And then I got my Glock out and I started fucking using my Glock down range as well. And then I told my driver to reverse. He reversed. We hit dead ground, hit bellied out on the bottom, nearly went back, went forward, and then we managed to get out and back into dead ground with the rest of my lads. I had concussion. I was being sick. Spent the night in an ambulance, and went back to join my lads the next day. Still felt shit, because there's 3 fights to a bullet. So you've got supersonic, subsonic, transonic and subsonic. So it leaves that bullet, it leaves that rifle at supersonic rate. It's fucking hoofing it. And then it goes transonic where it wobbles in the air, and then it goes subsonic. So if he could talk to itself, he goes, I need to sort myself out. And it will sort itself out, but it's lost so much energy sorting itself out, it goes subsonic. And then it will just get to the point where it would just fall out of the sky. And that round hit me at supersonic, so it was still going full pelt as it hit my head. And it felt sore, because the helmet I had was the old Mark 6 Alpha helmets, and because my head's so big, they didn't have my helmet in stores for the new helmet they were dishing out. So they said you got to carry on using your old one. If I had a new one on, it's higher on the ear, so I wouldn't be talking to you now, I'd be dead. Yeah, because the old one sits low on the ear, and it hit the helmet, and my head was really sore to touch, like bruised. And then 3 days after that, I hit a 30 kilo anti-tank mine on another mission. As a sergeant, you're meant to lead. My front call sign stopped.
What's the reason for that?
Because it's like any war situation as a sniper. You shoot the officers, you shoot the sergeants, and you shoot the signaller.
Yeah.
Right. So none of them soldiers now have got any chain of command. They're running headless.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're a private and I was a sergeant, I'll tell you what to do, and that's what happens. You know, but if I was dead, you'd be going, what do I do? What do I do? You know, that's why it's important. Always have a good briefing off your NCOs, so you've got a good idea what plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G is. Yeah, we was on a mission. My front call sign stopped. I got out, ran down. I said, look, he goes, Craig, I've got a bad feeling about this. I said, okay. He said, what's wrong? He said, oh, I've got kids at home and I'm married. And I said, oh, I'll lead. Me being me. So I passed all the vehicles we had with us, led, and I didn't want to go for the village because there were too many vulnerable points. We were stopping and starting. This was at 4:30 in the evening, 5:30, 5 o'clock, pitch fucking black, and there's no ambient light either, so it is fucking black, you know. And so I said I'll scoot round the village. I went round the village, and I hit an anti-tank mine, hit the right side. My driver wore most of it. My gunner went deaf. He rolled off the back, and he went deaf. And then I got blown out to the left side, broke both my arms, my hips were fucked, got some frag in the hand, and then the shockwave hit the right side, which was already bruised from the round, hit the right side again. Yeah, I was fucked, absolutely fucked. And then we got Kazivaked out. I tried to find my driver, so I was crawling. I had cuts all over me. I was crawling to find my driver because I couldn't see him. And if I'd have crawled a bit further, I would have hit some more mines. What they'd done, they put an anti-tank mine and put anti-personnel mines around it. So I would have hit that if I'd have gone any further.
Was it for the purpose
Yeah.
of people getting out?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. Without a doubt. They found one of the wheels. They found one of the wheels about about 150 yards away. That's how big the explosion was, you know. Yeah, went back to Bastion. Got all done and dusted. Went back to Birmingham. Put casts on me, everything. And then cast came off in 6 weeks. When I saw the physio in camp, they made me do 10 press-ups, set me back out. Yeah, set me back out. And that's when I went to Pandas Ridge, which is also a shithole.
If you had have had, you know, and you say how much you enjoyed your time, would you have chosen to go back when they sent you back?
I didn't feel right.
No.
I was broken.
And you knew...
I was broken. I knew I was broken.
What was it that had, you know, in the space of a few days, changed in your head?
Just for all the tours that I've done, it's like it was shattered. The wall in my brain, like an ice wall, it had just been shattered. And there was things that I was thinking about that happened in fucking Kosovo. Stuff that I've seen when I saw in Bosnia, and I couldn't control it. I wasn't sleeping. I was getting up and I was walking around the house, checking everything, making sure everything was locked. And I would go in the garden and kneel in the garden, just do weird things that was out of the ordinary, you know. And I was taking painkillers. I was addicted to painkillers because my brain hurt, my migraines. My brain fucking hurt all the time, you know. I lost my molars at the back. I've got no molars at the back of my mouth. Lost them. My hips hurt all the time. My hand hurt all the time. But I went back out. And I just didn't feel right myself. But I didn't say anything.
I was going to say, did none of the lads even notice a difference in you?
No, I'd cry, but I'd cry privately. I'd go for a little walk and just sit there and cry. Did
you want to be done at that point?
Yes and no. I wanted to be fixed.
Yeah.
To carry on.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted. But the army don't do that. They don't fix you. They kick you out. That's their way of fixing it.
Yeah.
Take away the problem, fuck you off, and then...
And so how did that come about?
So my wife noticed it first, the change in me. Massively changed in me. And then the army noticed it. I went into the medical officer's office. He said, what we're going to do, we're going to take you to Aldershot for an interview to find out about your mental health. I said, okay. And he goes, and then they could do a few tests on you. Came back and he said, you're done. A couple of weeks later, he said, you're done. I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, you're done. So
you never saw it coming?
No. He said, you got PTSD? And I thought, I feel alright. No, you're done. And I said, what happens now? And he goes, well, basically you go on gardening leave, they call it, you know, where you go home and you'll wait to get discharged out of the British Army, which took another year for me to get.
And at that time you were just...
At home.
Just at home.
At home, festering. With all my issues. With all my suicidal thoughts and my fucking memories. Just festering at home.
So you were saying before we started that you've got complex PTSD from multiple incidents. What does PTSD actually mean to you if you were to try and describe it?
Darkness. A dark place. Yeah. where thoughts are uncontrolled, they got the power. You haven't got no power over it at all. You can't control what goes on.
What effect does it have on the people closest to you?
Massively.
Yeah.
Massively. Argumentative, you're irritable, you want to be on your own, so you don't talk to anyone. So the joking, fucking jovial Jack the Lad Craig is now a quiet person who doesn't talk. Everyone thinks, you always think that something's fucking wrong all the time. You're very irritable. You're always in pain. Internally as well as externally from your issues. And you feel that no one understands. You feel everyone's against you. Yeah, you can go on. You can go down a rabbit hole.
So, why do you think it is, after everything you've been through, everything that you have to sort of fight on a day-to-day, that in the blink of an eye you go back?
See, that's a hard one, that is. But I think I would go back due to not the bullshit, but sometimes I miss the bullshit and the routine. But I miss the camaraderie, I miss the lads, I miss the routine, yeah, probably the routine as well now, thinking of it, you know. And I think it's important as well that a veteran needs routine in their life, because what they used to have in the armed forces is routine. If you put routine in like I do, go to the gym, go to work, come home, there's a set routine that I do, you know, and I think it's important to have that in your life. But going back, I don't know why I would go back. It's all I fucking know. Since 16 years old,
yeah.
You know, I left school and I hadn't experienced civilian life as a kid.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced it.
No.
Just left school. You know, your mum's still wiping your fucking ass. You know, that's how young you are.
Yeah.
And I joined when I was 16.
Yeah.
And then they moulded me into what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And that's just how I am now. And that's why I would go back.
Yeah.
Because 23 years is a long time of your life. You know, you join when you're 16, you become an adult soldier when you're 18, you leave when you're 40, you know, and that's a fucking long time.
Yeah.
I thought all you fucking know is discipline and purpose and routine. That's all you fucking know.
Yeah.
And you feel lost when you come out, you know.
So, you know, you said that when you broke this world record that follows you around, obviously, that it was the media that got it out, and that from there your privacy was completely compromised. How do you begin to deal with that?
You don't really. You just got to take every day as it comes, you know. And that's all I do to cope with my mental health and all that shit that happened.
For people that don't know, just gloss over quickly what happened with that story coming out.
So basically the story came out in the newspaper that I broke the world record, and I started getting death threats from fundamentalists in England, and basically they wanted to cut my head off for the stuff that I'd done in Afghan, and they wanted to kidnap a Muslim soldier and also kidnap me, you know, and it was scary. It's more scary for Tanya than anything else, and I was more scared for her safety. Me, I didn't give a fuck. I don't know why I didn't give a fuck, because I would fight.
What you used to do?
Yeah, I would fight, and I'll be a dirty fucker as well. You know, I'll bite your nose off, rip your ears off, sort of job. You know, there's no Queensberry rules going through there. But I was more concerned about her and my daughters than anything else. But yeah, it just opened a whole can of worms. And because when the story gets written from you about you, it goes to London District, where the MOD is, and it goes to the department, London District Media Ops, and it's meant to get redacted or censored, and it never did. It just went straight to print. So my name was in there, my daughter's name, my dog's name, where I lived, my wife's name, what I did, my job, fucking everything was in the paper. So it just opened a can of worms, you know, and you become hyper vigilant in yourself because you think everyone's out to get you, you know, plus you're already suffering with mental health, plus you already got fucking PTSD. It just fucking adds to it. And yeah, you probably think killing yourself's the easy way out because it's just stopping everything. Do you know what I mean? And that's what crosses your mind all the time as well.
And you nearly got to that point?
Yeah, a few times.
Would you talk about the closest that you got?
Nearly shot myself. Yeah, I got a gun, and Tanya was away at the time, and put the gun in my mouth. I was going to shoot myself. I just thought that was it. I've had enough of life.
And what changed your mind?
My dog, Betsy. Yeah. She's passed away now.
Yeah.
She's my best mate.
How was that when she passed?
Tough. Very tough. Yeah, my never been to bomb as she was. Never been to the vet. Never had health problems. She died of old age, basically. I thought she'd go on forever, but yeah, she passed away. Left a massive hole in my heart.
Saved your life?
Massively. I think more than once as well, you know. And then a year ago, took me ages, you know, and I didn't expect it, and Tony bought me another dog called Steve, his little West Highland Terrier. We're inseparable.
Yeah.
So inseparable. I take him everywhere. I was going to bring him today, but he'd been crying at the door and God knows what. But yeah, we're inseparable, me and him. And Tanya says you have to have that separation from him because I start getting anxiety when I'm not with him, and he suffers it when I'm not with him. Yeah, he cries, he'll sit by the door waiting for me, front door, you know, he's my buddy. But he hasn't replaced Betsy.
No.
I've just given the dog another good home.
Yeah. Do you still miss her?
Oh, massively. I've got her ashes at home.
Yeah.
And I talk to her all the time.
Would she be the one that you would confide in originally?
Yeah, about everything. Talk to her. Yeah, sit on the park bench and talk. Now I talk to Steve, you know, and Steve will sit next to him, put his head on my lap, and we just talk. I'd shit myself if he answered me, you know what I mean? But yeah, I just talk.
And they, your dogs, maybe more than people, have helped you from some of the lowest moments.
Massively, and helped my wife as well. Do you know what I mean? Tanya's, when I've been away and Tanya needed company, I think that we got two other dogs, Teddy and Wilma, and we got Teddy from America from a dog farm, and then she had a little Yorkie called Winnie. She passed away a couple of years ago now, and then I got another one called Wilma. She's just a spitting image of Winnie. Spitting image, everything, characters, everything. It's like she's like the second dog of her, and the dogs have kept Tanya company, insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it gives her a sense of purpose.
And they seemingly help her as well because you know, I think we know that there isn't enough of a light shed on people like yourself anyway, the veterans that come back and what you guys have to deal with, but it almost even more so the wives, the families that have to, you know, and you said it before we started recording, that basically get that secondary PTSD through having to deal with and live with it every day.
Yeah, I don't think the partners get enough recognition. It's always about the partner, you know. No, sorry, it's always about the person that's going through it. But if I would be sitting here now if it wasn't for Tanya, I wouldn't have achieved the majority of the stuff, like my bushcraft school, like my book and stuff like that. If it wasn't for Tanya pushing me and guiding me, I wouldn't have achieved none of that.
So I do want to now spend some time on the positive stuff that you have incredibly managed to do. Firstly, the book. How did that come about? How did that opportunity arise? Was it something that you just...
Yeah, so basically I've done the shot, and then somebody approached me and said, are you interested in writing a book? And I said, okay, what do I write about? And she says, let's write about your shot. And I said, okay. And I said, but it's going to be like a pamphlet, because he goes, well, write about your life story. And so I did. And then Tanya helped me because of my dyslexia, and I gave it to a ghostwriter. He went, fucking hell, my book was like massive. And he goes, we can't put that, can't put that, can't put that, can't put that. And it goes down into a normal sized book. And he said, but you've got enough here for another book and another book, which would never happen. But and it was good. It was like a sense of release in a way as well, just letting all them thoughts and from childhood to the army, from tours that I'd done. It was good to do.
Are you proud of that?
Do you know what? People say you've written a book, and I go, okay. I'm like that though. You win the lottery, okay.
I get that. I've written a book, and I can relate to the sense of, being in it, being the person that does it. If it's not within the character necessarily, you may just view it as it's just what it was.
Just a book.
Yeah.
Okay. You broke the world record, Craig. Yeah, I know. You've done it twice. Okay.
But when you think about you think of a book in that kind of circumstance in which you are, drawing upon your life of some unbelievable stories, that the fact that you have been able to get to such a point where you can get it down for people, you can tell people and educate people, and there should, with that, I think, come a level of, even with you, where you go, do you know what, done a pretty good job there.
Doesn't sink in.
No,
it drives Tanya nuts.
Yeah.
She goes, fucking hell, Craig, take some credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I don't know what to do. What do I do?
Yeah.
I suppose that makes me
internally, even if you don't externally portray it, is there a part of you inside that in your head might go, well done, Craig?
No.
Is that voice ever there?
I'm very hard on myself.
Yeah.
Very hard on myself.
Is that an effect of the PTSD?
Yeah. I don't take much credit for stuff. And I've got a voice in my head that I take pills for, again, medication, and it says that I'm vile, and it just repeats it. That's all it does, repeats.
And you physically hear it?
I physically hear it, yeah, it's on my right side. Then again, blown up, yeah. And it's a male voice, it just says I'm vile. That's all it says. So it makes me unhappy. And it gets louder if I laugh or have a joke or something. It gets louder and louder and louder to the point where it's like suddenly in my face. And I think, I don't like that, so just don't laugh. Just become sad.
What you should feel very proud of is the survival school. So you got your jump on Maverick Survival School. Talk to me about that, how that came about, how you set it up.
So the skills and drills that you learn in the army, and obviously I wanted to tune them in, so I did some civilian courses as well, and I thought to myself I'd love to open a bushcraft school, but I realised how the shit end of the stick that veterans get, so I originally opened it for veterans to come down, and they come down for free, so I was paying out of my own pocket everything for veterans to come down to the school. And I've been open, I've been 4 years now, I've been open, and I've been rammed, I used to do every weekend, but now I do weekend on, weekend off, because I was burning myself out, and plus doing 9-hour days in the week. Took my toll on me a little bit, plus I need to remember that I'm broken as well, and then people say, no, don't use that word, broken. That's the only word I can describe, you know. And I realised that it wasn't just veterans that suffered, it was first-time responders, you know, the police, fire brigade, ambulances. And then I realised it's just not fucking them either. It's normal civilians suffer from childhood trauma and stuff like that. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to open my doors out to everybody, you know, and that's what I've done. And then I thought to myself, well, if I become a charity, you know, and then I can get grants, so I'm not paying out of my own pocket all the time, I can get grants to help. And do you know what, they don't recognise mental health as a charity. They just kept turning me down.
Mind blowing.
I had to register under a school, and yeah, we got accepted last year. And so I'm now a fully fledged charity, and yeah, people come down. And I always say bushcraft is the second bit you learn. Yeah, the second bit you learn. The most fundamental bit is relaxing, chilling out, opening up to talk, you know. And when they come down on the Friday evening, you can hear a pin drop because everyone's looking at each other, trying to suss each other out. Yeah. And then on the Saturday in the morning, I get them working together. You know, through the afternoon they're working together as pairs or threes. Saturday night I can't shut the fuck up, you know what I mean? They're all talking and they're opening up as well, and that is the key point of what the school's all about. And it's called Maverick because it was my course sign on 2 tours. That's what it's called, the Maverick Survival School. You know, I was Maverick 4-1 as a sniper, so and I said, fuck it, everyone knows me as Maverick 4-1, so Maverick Survival School, and that's how it's come around.
Does it excite you? Are the weekends where you're, you know, working down at the school, is that what you look forward to?
Yeah, so basically I go down there on a Friday. I've got 2 other guys that help me out. One's a veteran, one's came down to the school and he wanted to help out, and he's helped me for about 2 years now. They're both top blokes. The other guy, Harry, he helps me. He's ex-Household Cavalry as well. Left the army under a dark cloud, saying didn't get treated right, stuff like that. But yeah, they teach as well, and yeah, I just love it. And Tanya says I'm a different guy when I come back, you know, because I'm buzzing, you know. And then the darkness comes over me again, and then I feel shit. But
does it help you as much as it helps the other people?
Massively. Hearing their problems and telling them how do I cope with mine. Try this, try that, see if this works, you know. And then Ross, my therapist, he will come down on a Saturday, and then if you want to talk to him, you go for a little walk with him. And he's got different walks. If you're away for about 9 hours, you know you've got serious problems. But if you're a little half an hour walk, you know, it's not that minor. But yeah, he'll go for a walk with you and he'll follow you up. He won't just dump you that night. He will keep ringing you for a couple of weeks to make sure that you're getting the right help. You know. So yeah, it's really good, the school.
Does the school make you happy?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it is a lot of work.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's a lot of work. You know, with the first aid, health and safety, everything you got to prep, insurance and everything prior. You just can't open a school and go in here. You know, you got to have the land, you got to have this, you got to have that. I'm very lucky at the moment to have a bit of land, and I want it to be better. So each year I buy more kit. You know, so people don't have to suffer in the cold. It's warm, it's cosy. You know, when I first started off quite small. The max people I take is 6, because I like it small groups. And you feel more comfortable and opening and talking as well. And then I've incorporated more stuff. You know, they pay me money, I buy more kit. I don't spend it on anything else. I just backpedal it into the school to buy more kit, more knives, more saws, more tents, more shelters and stuff like that to make it better all the time. You know.
What's the dream with it then?
I've done the dream, and I just keep on dreaming.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. It's so good to see that, you know, obviously you have, and this is what the podcast is all about. You know, you've gone through some incredible things that people can't sit and like me, you can sit here and we can think about it and imagine it, and I can close my eyes and I can think this must be what Craig saw. You can look at me and you still see that, and no one can understand that, and you've gone through the difficult bits, and here we are now with the survival school up and thriving the way it is at the moment. It just shows everyone out there, that even in the difficult times, you can find that light at the end of the tunnel and make something brilliant of it. Where for people listening, and people watching, where is the survival school? How can people get involved with it? If they feel like it'd be something that they would want to look at, how can they contact you with the school? What are the best ways for that?
So I've got a web page. It's the Maverick Survival School. Just type that in the Google search and it'll pop up. My big face will pop up there, and tap on there. Go on the web page, and there would be a contact web email address there. Click on that, and it will go straight to me. I answer every single email. All right. And then what happens then? If you want to book on through the web page, please do so. But if you want to book on through an email, send me some dates. I'll send you dates, and we'll work out from there. And we'll go from there.
Awesome. I'd love to come down and
please do.
It would be awesome. But listen, Craig, it's been an absolute pleasure, privilege for me to sit here and chat to you today. Honestly. Brilliant. I know that you don't see it, but you're an incredible inspiration to so many people, and just keep doing what you're doing, mate, because it is awesome.
No, thank you.
So thank you so much.
No
it's been a pleasure, mate.
No, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.